Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Wombat Ferrari, I am playing Oops All Spells in Pauper. In Pauper, this deck does have to play some lands. It's usually called X Land Spy. The deck has been seen with, I think, 2, 4, 5, and 6 as the number of lands it plays. Today we're playing 4 land Spy combo. This build, Wombat Ferrari took from my Eternal Glory podcast co-host, Bryant Cook, who did some work on the shell and came to his combo expert conclusion that 4 Lotus Petals is the way to go. There are lists that usually play 2 Lotus Petals, but Bryant theorized that having more initial mana sources means you get to keep more hands, and then like using Lotus Petal to cycle Sagu Wildling or Generous Ent into a functional land lets you just keep more hands, and then you have more ability to play the game. And that makes sense to Wombat Ferrari. It makes sense to me. I don't have strong opinions whether that's right or wrong, but it does make sense when it's said out loud. The goal of the deck is to use the land tutors, that's Land Grant, Sagu Wildling, Troll of Khazad-dûm, Generous Ent, and Gatecreeper Vine, to tutor up the 4 lands that are in your deck. Once all the lands are out of your deck, Balustrade Spy can target yourself. You mill all your cards because you have no lands to hit. And then you cast Dread Return, bringing back Lotleth Giant. And the deck plays 38 creatures. This should do more than 20 damage if it happens successfully. The backdoor mode of this deck is just Golgari big guys. Because while this combo stuff is happening and your opponent has to respect it, you're also developing a powerful mana engine with cards like Overgrown Battlement, Quarian Ranger. You have a lot of mana to spend, and with 38 creatures in the deck, Lead the Stampede and Winding Way have insane conversion rates. And at some point, if your opponent's sitting there with a Nile Spellbomb in play and that you can't get out of your way, you just cast Generous Ent, start attacking for 5. You just cast Lotleth Giant, dome them for 3 or 4, and have a 6/5. Cast Sagu Wildling, 3/3 flyer. Cast Spy, target them, whatever. It's a 2/3 flyer. This is a second wave of the deck that your opponent does have to respect eventually. I think this deck in Pauper is a lot cooler than it is in Legacy, where I think it's mostly just horseshit. But having to figure out how many lands you're going to play, how you're going to get them out of the deck. I've seen builds that play Avenging Hunter. That's the initiative creature. This one doesn't have anything like that, so what your top end looks like, how much you want to plan to be in that top end game is a decision. Lots of cool stuff here. Let's do it. This is 4 land Spy from Wombat Ferrari. I'm on the draw in round 1. You do have to mulligan hands that don't have the ability to start doing anything. Okay, this one has 2 mana. I can land grant for Elves of Deep Shadow, and then land grant can start wilding. I'm going to keep this and bottom a Dread Return. Opponent says, "Hi YouTube, everyone say hi to Williami 1986. Alright, land grant. I will reveal my hand to you. Saprison Scary. I love this card, the name, because scary is not a word that anyone says, but it is scary, S-C-A-R-Y, to see this card, because nobody who has put this in their deck in history has been up to anything good. But I'm up to no good as well, and my opponent has now seen my hand. Peat Bog, alright, they're in the full depletion land, crazy, jam it all in zone. Okay, Saga Wildling into Wall of Roots versus Wall of Roots into Sagu Wildling. These are basically the same thing. Roost. Search my deck for a basic land. I'll get another forest. I'll play Wall of Roots. Put a -0/1 counter on that. And Ceruli Caretaker takes more time to heat up than Sagu Wildling does, so I'll lead on that one. This is worse if I get Wrath of Godded, but I don't think that's going to happen. I might get comboed out, though. Something's happening. Pentad Prism. And Contentious Plan. Proliferate, draw a card. Wow, Proliferate's dope as hell. Have you ever seen someone draw a card and generate 2, 4, 6, 7 mana? Not bad. Alright, this is a race into the garbage pile, though. Sagu Wildling. Roost. I'm going to get the Swamp, because I have more ways to get a forest than I do a swamp. And then 1, 2, 3, Lead the Stampede, Tinderwall, and Overgrown Battlement. These go to the bottom. I don't care about the order. Sometimes you do. Right now I don't. And tap for a green. Overgrown Battlement does the most here. I'm gonna do that one. Good chance I'm dead, but if I'm not, good chance I win. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Zillions of mana in the pool. Lorien revealed. Hot. Basic Mountain. Contentious Plan. Another 7 mana cantrip. Ooh. I think they may have forgotten to do this last time, but they didn't forget this time. Putting a 0/1 counter on my Wall of Roots. That does slow me down a bit. Oh no, don't have another plan. Snap. Brutal. Alright. That's a lot of mana gone, and a lot of mana unlocked for them. They might be in combo mode now. Infectious Injury. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Okay. Proliferate. They now have a win con to proliferate. Anamorphose. Made blue-green. Anamorphose. A new Prism. Single green proliferate. That kills my Wall of Roots. That's more annoying than anything else that's happening right now. Experimental Augury. Look at your top 3 cards, one in your hand, the rest on the bottom. Proliferate. This deck is really cool. This is kind of on the fringe of Pauper, and I don't know that I've ever played against it on the channel. Excited to put some eyes on this thing. Contentious Plan. I'm up to 4 poison now. Experimental Augury. 5 poison. The second Pentad Prism just unlocks this endless cantrip loop. Weather the Storm. Can I beat that? Maybe. My opponent's at 54. I'm going to have to combo twice. Oh, the Spy. It's here. But there's still a land in my deck. It's bad news for me. I think I want to start by leading the Stampede. No, I really want Overgrown Battlement in play. Is it possible for me to win this turn? I feel like no. Tinderwall is positive mana, so I can turn 1 green into 2 red. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. If I lead the Stampede into... Oh, it could happen. Hold on. Everyone settle down. Okay. Tinderwall, tap it for green, and then sack it for 2 red. Oh no, I think I'm short. I would have to lead the Stampede into a Generous Ent, cycle that for the Forest, or a Sagu, like one of the 8 things that do that. But that costs some mana either way. But I get that mana back because I get to play the land I search. I think I'm 1 short. So I would spend 3 on Lead the Stampede. I'd have 3 left. Assuming I hit, I can spend 1, go down to 2, get the land, go back up to 3. All right, yeah, this has to be a development turn, which probably means I've lost. A Battlement, Tinderwall, because after all, you're my Tinderwall. I could have tapped in a way where I can lead the Stampede this turn. That doesn't help me win, though. Big Lorien revealed. If they whiff here, I win. If they get the chain going again, but the chain was going last turn, and they just kind of stopped. Contentious Plan. 6 poison. Pentad Prisms go up. Yeah, proliferating my Wall of Roots actually saved them. That was... I still would have had to hit an 8-outer on my flip 5, but that 1 mana was the difference. Ooh. Opponent passing the turn. Have they whiffed? Okay. Well, well, well. Right, tap for green. 2, 3. Lead the Stampede. Can we hit a creature that is a land? Yes. Done. Sagu Wildling. Roost. Get Forest. Play Forest. I will have 6 creatures, and there are more than 1 Dread Return and more than 1 other thing in the deck. This is 3, 4, 5. Do I want to kill one of these Pentad Prisms and try to go off second main? Probably. Masked Vandal. Target Pentad Prism. Exile Wall of Roots. Alright, they didn't respond, so I'm just going to go now. 3, 4. Balustrade Spy. It's party time. If they have a second Weather the Storm, that could save them. And I should sack Tinderwall for extra mana here. Dread Return. Target. Lotleth Giant. Sack. 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 Opponent took 30-ish. And then Lotleth Giant. Target, target, target. Did we do it? 35 cards in my graveyard. Oh no. Are they going to weather the storm? And is it going to be enough? It is weather the storm. Gaining 21. That is going to be enough. Sick. Cool shit. All right, GG. I have no cards in my deck. I lose. Yeah, no Thassa's Oracle in this format. We're working hard. A Mesmeric Fiend seems pretty good. Masked Vandal seems pretty good because the Pented Prisms defined that game. Most of these things are like life gain effects, whatever. It's a little awkward because Wombat Ferrari did provide me with a matchup guide, and in most cases, in almost all matchups, you shave 2 Fiends for the second or the third and fourth Vandal, or the 2 Vandals for the third and fourth Fiend. But this is a matchup where I kind of want both in high numbers. Maybe Vandal is silly and Fiend is the way to go. That's pretty bad against removal, though. Well, I think attacking their hand probably makes more sense than attacking their Pented Prisms. Okay, I will do it this way. We've got no mana in this 7, mulligan. There is no mana in this 6, mulligan. There is no mana in this 5. Okay, I've got a land grant. And I have to keep these hands. I'm going to put probably one of the caretakers for sure. Another caretaker for sure. It's probably just all the caretakers, right? All right, all the caretakers to the bottom. Play Forest, which turns on land grant. Roost for the swamp. 1 land remains in my deck. Go. Not a lot going on here. And now opponent will have graveyard hate and stuff in their deck. Oh my god. This is where I top deck the forest and become a legend. Do you ever send it with 1 land in the deck? No, because there's no Narcomoebas. I need more going on. Oh, I think I actually should have bought him Spy then, in that case. I forgot that this isn't just Oops All Spells, and I need some number of mana dorks present to play the game. There's one. Alright. Gatecreeper Vine. My deck is now empty of lands, and I have 2 of the 3 creatures I need to win. If I draw a 1-drop next turn, I can send it. That's not a 1-drop. And opponent showing black mana, things like Crypt Incursion here, looking terrible for me. Cycled for an island. Played Saprison Scary. Proliferate. Refills all the lands and gives me 1 poison. What a lovely card. I love Pauper, just makes you want to play cards like Thirsting Roots, a card that has never been played anywhere. I don't even think this was played in the draft format it comes from. Oy oy oy. Remember when I mulliganed to 4 because I couldn't find mana? Now I have nothing but. If I draw Mesmeric Fiend, I might be able to win. So I have enough mana now to play Fiend and then follow it up with Spy, and that's my 3 creatures. Though if Fiend takes a Graveyard Hate instant, sacking it to Dread Return is not going to help me. Prologue to Pheresis. I've played that card in Legacy. Hey, well. Moment of Truth, squad. What you got over there? Breath Weapon, ick. Alright, well. I get to steal a card forever, because that's how this works. Oh wow, that hand is not very good. I think I want to take Manamorphose. Snap could mess with the number of creatures I have in play, but Manamorphose being a redraw, kind of whack. Alright. Do I go Beatdown? Do I go cast Spy, target you, start attacking? Because if they ever snap the Spy, then that resets my combo. That's not very good. But if I use 2 petals to do that, then I can't cast the big ones in my deck. Yeah, I might just cast Spy this turn. Really depends on what I draw. I'd love to see a Lead the Stampede and just be totally over. There's the other Prism. Oh no, a spell? Draw 3 cards, proliferate, fuck off. I just made your hand bad. Why would you do this to me? Troll of Khazad-dûm. Well, that's a good one to snap, unfortunately. Alright, I guess we're going Spy, Beatdown. I just don't see the game continuing in a way that is positive for me. Alright, milled a zillion cards, including a Fairy Macabre. Okay, attack for 2. Wall of Roots. And I'll pass the turn. Peat Bog is in. Ooh, alright, another castable creature. Even gains me 3 life. I think using Lotus Petal to cast this Wildling is better than using Wall of Roots because of their proliferate shit. Now they're taking 5 a turn. This is real money. coming in. And Vivid Surgeon's Insight is messed up. I was worried about Lorien Revealed, and they have one that also proliferates. Oh no, another one. Okay, there goes the snap, putting my wildling back. Or a snap anyway. There's probably more than one. Okay. Replay wildling, replay troll. I think I'm going to go wildling. And pass. Gatecreeper Vine doesn't do anything anymore. It's a 0-2 with no abilities. It counts as defender for the things that care about that. And I'm going to 7 poison here. It's kind of fun that we're in an actual race. The 2 crazy combo decks in what's functionally a damage race. You love to see it. Another Fiend. I'm going to attack first. Opponent's at 7. What do you got over there? Tell me more. Breath Weapon, Fairy Macabre, Snap, and Proliferate. Well, if they don't take Breath Weapon, they could just use that to get Thirsting Roots back anytime. Snap is probably the most annoying one, though. Though, if I take Breath Weapon, they have to snap to get the weapon back. Alright, I'll take Weapon. Land Grant. Another spell that doesn't do anything. Okay, attacking for... Put you to 1. You want to be at 1? Alright. 1 it is. And... I guess I'll cast Gatecreeper Vine here. It's not doing anything else. And at this point, they have to snap something that is not the Mesmeric Fiend, because all these are lethal. Did we limp over the finish line? Fingers crossed. We know we're at 8 poison. Oh no, 9 poison. We got a fade, a draw. Nothing that proliferates, nothing that proliferates. Don't have it, don't have it, don't have it. No, no. Oh no, this is a lot of mana. What are we doing? Lorien Revealed. Miss, 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 miss. 3 lands, 3 lands. 3 Fairy Macabres. Ironically, if I had played the Balustrade Spy a turn earlier, like I was trying to do, like I mentioned doing, they would have died a turn earlier and lost the game. But that would have cost me the Lotus Petals to do that. Okay, 6 cards in hand. All right, not a Proliferate, but does give me poison. Weather the Storm, just teasing me over the top. Okay, good shit. I executed my combo, but the 70 damage I did was not enough to win game 1. And then game 2 came down to a damage race where my opponent won the race by 1 turn. In the Weather the Storm obviously helps, but that was actually just their life going down while my poison going up little bits at a time. That was a sweet match. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep my hand. I am locked and loaded here. Tons of mana to play with, and then lead the Stampede to reload. Jagged Baron steals 1 to me, so this is probably Madness Burn. That's the deck that plays that land, I think. Gatecreeper Vine. I can only do one thing this turn anyway, so I might as well do the one that spends all my mana. I guess I could have played Elves of Deep Shadow and Cycle Generous Scent. Technically could have done 2 things, I guess. Paducah Bog right on time. That'll save you 1 damage down the road. Lead the Stampede. I think I'd like to develop this turn. I could play out these 2 dorks, cycle for my last forest, and then I can start leading the Stampede or just casting Wildlings. Insane amount of passive life gain in these decks, by the way. The Sagu Wildling enters, gains 3 life. Generous Ent makes a food. Lots of that sort of stuff going on. Opponent has a Black Mage Rod. Get my last forest out of here, and what's going on? What do we do? I could just cast this Generous Ent. And Elves of Deep Shadow doesn't have an alternate mode, though. That kind of hurts. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to lead maybe twice and try to find a spy and win next turn. Try not to get 20-balled in between. Okay, there's no spy here, but I do have another one. Looking 10 cards deep for a 4 of, and did not deliver. But that's 10 cards either in my hand or on the bottom of my deck that are not helping me. And here I can clean up, discard Gate Creeper Vine. Uh-oh, another one. Carnarium picking up probably Bajuka Bog would be my guess. Or no. Going for the damage instead. Fair enough. Spy? Hey, magic's easy. Okay. Quarian Ranger. Make black. Pick up a forest. Just making sure I have enough stuff to do everything I want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Tinderwall. Spy. Opponent's going to need some graveyard hate for that 1 black or red mana they have. Dread Return. Target. Thoughtless Giant. Sacrifice. Vine. Spy. And Tinderwall. 28 damage. Who's the burn deck now? Fun. Hey, there's a lot of life gain in this sideboard. Healer of the Glade and Vitu-Ghazi Inspector both do this. I love that in the sideboard map that Wombat Ferrari provided me, we board out Elves of Deep Shadow in this matchup after I took a bunch of damage to make it happen in game 1, and I was scared the whole time. Story checks out. Bringing in a bunch of passive life gain and some ways to remove Black Mage Rods. Okay, ready to go. I've got 2 lands that represent even more lands and even more mana. Funny story about Tinderwall in decks without lands. This was a staple in old Legacy Charbelcher. And one of the most common noob dumbass mistakes I saw was people with a Gaddock in play forgetting about Tinderwall's other ability, which is pay a red, sack this, deal 2 to a creature it's blocking. I saw a lot of Legacy games end in ways that did not make any sense by people just throwing. The Belcher player had the 1 Taiga in play. Use it to activate the wall, kill your Gaddock. Went from hard lock to instantly game over. Okay, I'm at 18. Land grant, well, there's all my lands accounted for. Battlement, get in there. This thing goes nuts. I drafted a lot of Rise of the Eldrazi back in the day, and this was one of my favorite cards to take. Defender Ramp as a supported draft archetype. Give me more of that. Okay, so I have Tinderwall, which I can use to put itself directly in the graveyard to Mass Vandal the Rod. That's probably worth doing. Okay, Tinderwall is mana positive because it counts as a defender and it's going to sack for double red. I only need green mana to do what I'm doing this turn. I can play the Battlement and then might as well land grant. Get it while I can. Forest. And we've got 3, 4, 5 mana. Stinks to use mana that you don't really have to, but I do actually need a creature in the graveyard. And Healer of the Glade, 1/2 gain 3 life. Next turn I'm just casting Lotleth Giant. Let's go. Take 0 on the way in, but can you beat a 6/5? Nile Spellbomb. And Bajuka Bog. I don't need those. Generous Ent. That's also a good one to cast. I'm going to attack with my 2 creatures first, in case one dies in combat somehow or they bolt one or something. It just gives me a little extra on the Lotleth Giant. I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. I can cast one of these things of my choice. I actually like the Ent better, so I can gain life off the food. They knew about the Giant. They didn't know about the Ent. I did just give up information, but it's fine. I don't think I'm in danger of losing. Another Rod, okay. I'm just going to eat the food in the end step. I got the mana. Don't use it for anything else. Attack with everybody. Already chump blocking. Love to see it. Overgrown Battlement is free. It's not free, but it's reduced. It's subsidized. Lightning Bolt targeting me in response to Lotleth Giant dealing 0 to them. You got me. I'm at 20. Go. All right. Can they deal 20 damage to my face right now? They really have 2 turns to do it. It doesn't have to be right now. Highway Robbery. Discarded Kitchen Imp. My reach creature is tapped. How clever. Take 2 from that. I'm at 17. Oh my god. A 1/3 reach. I don't have any evidence to collect. I don't have to pre-combat this. One time I famously and hilariously got cooked by this card when my opponent cast it. I'd never seen it before. And I scanned real quick and I was like, okay, yeah, none of their stuff can block flying. And then I committed to an attack that got cooked by this because it has reach, but it's the middle word. It has abilities both above and below the reach on this. Just a weird templating. It makes sense if you understand how cards are templated. It's just annoying that it's true. Okay, the Black Mage Rod is currently equipped to nothing. Faithless Looting, discarded Kitchen Imp and Fiery Temper, okay. They could burn my Vitu-Ghazi Inspector and attack me for 4. That doesn't win the game, though. They could also burn my face and attack with Kitchen Imps, and I can just block one of them. That deals 1 more damage than doing it the first thing I said. But you need those to block, though I don't think it attacks in my future. Dread Return. Cannot cast that, for a variety of reasons. Everybody in. They could technically block Lotless Giant, leave 1 Kitchen Imp alive, go to 1, and try to find the way back through that. All right, here you go. We'll probably see them draw a card with Nihil Spellbomb here, just because the game is over. You got to do what you're going to do. Also, it appears my neighbor, who lives on the other side of the wall I record in, has booted up some sort of, I don't know, lawnmower, leaf blower, power washer. But if you hear horrible grinding, I'm sorry. Okay, 5 cards have to deal 12 damage here. Grab the prize, discarding Alms of the Vein. Okay, 5 cards and 1 mana have to deal 7 damage here. Is that possible without Fire Blast in this format? Not today. On to the next round. The NYSE Open is returning on June 6, 2026 to Long Island, New York. This proxy-friendly vintage tournament has the guaranteed prize pool of 8 pieces of Power 9 to be drafted by the top 8 based on final standings. Any additional profits made from the event will be added to the prize pool as on-site vendor credit. This tournament has been great the last 2 years. How often do you get to act sad about winning just a time walk? You know I'll be there. See you at the NYSE Open on June 6 on Long Island, New York. Use my link in the video description or find the New York Stacks Exchange on melee.gg. I'm on the draw in round 3. My neighbor is power washing. I peeked out the window. That's what's going on. This is a lot of mana and the spy. I'm going to keep it. This is only 1 land out of the deck. I'm going to have to solve that. But for now, I'm cool. Okay, draw for turn. Land Grant. I'll cast that by revealing my hand. Get a forest. And I think I want Overgrown Battlement in. That one does a lot for a little. And it's very hard for them to kill. That means I can't block. But I can't afford to lose my Overgrown Battlement to any generic Lightning Bolt effect. If they double bolt Battlement here, that's actually pretty sick. But I am still playing the game. Rally at the Hornburg. Make some humans. Okay, now I can block. What? Why didn't those attack? I mean, block. Alright, that must have been a misclick, because that doesn't make any sense otherwise. Sagu Wildling. Alright, how do I sequence this for maximum everything I want to do? It's Tinderwall first, then green, Wildling, Roost for a swamp. I could do even more if I play Quarian Ranger here, but I think I just want to invest for a huge next turn. And I don't mind blocking with Tinderwall. That one's less important. In fact, they're all less important now that I've had 1 turn to do anything. The Synth. Slow and steady. Looked Burning Tree Emissary. The opposite of slow and steady. Am I going to get rallied here? There's Emissary. Wow, couldn't use the mana. That's insane. Yeah, they can push 1 damage through here. And if they're willing to make this attack, they clearly just misclicked last turn, and I'm at 2 less life than I could be. We're now at the awkward part, though, where Spy is not deterministic. Quarian Ranger, Cerulean Caretaker, untap Battlement. Do you ever go for a mid-sized Spy, or do you just wait here? I think my opponent has indicated to me that their hand is poor enough that I'm just going to wait. Ooh. I am going to play the Lotus Petal, though, which gives away information, but that does turn on Tinderwall's secret ability. Synth flips Ren's Resolve. Another build-up turn here. Mountain and Bolt. I suspect I'll lose my Quarian Ranger right now. Unless they think actually going upstairs is worth it. Oh, Caretaker, sure. That's worth significantly less mana than Quarian Ranger is. Okay, do I want to kill one of these things? at the cost of my Lotus Petal? Or do I just want to block? I think I just want to block because these things being in play is the same as neutralizing a 2-2. Dread Return. Interesting. That makes me kind of interested in casting Spy, because I have this mid-size value option. Alright, I'm gonna do this, and I could just high roll and win anyway. Alright, there are 25 creature cards in my graveyard. There is a Dread Return and a Lot with Giant, so I actually just win. Okay, sure. I'll take that. Lot with Giant. Sack, sack, sack. Don't have to do anything else here. My plan was to like mid-size it, have a 2-3 in play, next turn hardcast Dread Return, get back maybe another Spy that I've milled over, and by then there'd be only one land left in my deck by definition. But you could also just high roll and not have to worry about it. Similar sideboard plan to last round, but instead of the more Masked Vandals, we've got some Fume Spitters in. Those can save a lot of damage on important turns. I'm in. Shitload of mana. I'm going to keep. Clockwork Percussionist, 1/1 haste. Here comes some beats. Oh, I drew a Spy. Unlucky for my opponent. Alright, land grant, get a forest, play the forest. Land grant, get another forest. 2 lands left in my deck. I could instantly make it 1. Or I could power out Battlement again, which was pretty dope last game. Yeah, I think I want to power out Battlement. Because with 2 more defenders in my hand and Sagu Wildling, I could do a lot next turn. Burning Tree Emissary. Here comes the beats. How many emissaries are coming? It's just a rally. Okay, I'm taking 3 this turn. Not too bad. Okay, big draws. Lead the Stampede. And I've got a Wall of Roots. A Ceruli Caretaker. And I could Sagu now. I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Roost. Is lead better here? Is there any reason lead would be better here? It uses my mana better. Alright, I'm actually going to lead here. We hit 4 creatures, pretty good. And does this go to the bottom? Bottom of your library in any order. The bottom card of my deck right now is Swamp. Which means, I mean, if I tutor, that'll shuffle. But that is actually really interesting to know the position of one of my 2 remaining lands. Because I do have Ceruli, so I have access to black. I am going to block, just blocking to absorb as much damage as I can. If they pick off one of my walls, I accept. Galvanic Blast. Okay, that's dead. Didn't float a green because it doesn't matter. Alright, I accepted these as possibilities. Opponent's down to 1 card in hand. And I can immediately just kind of do it all here. Gate Creeper, get the last forest. Forest casts Tinderwall. And here I have 5 mana, 2 of it's red. 1, 2, 3. I would like to cast all of the possible spells this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Battlement. Number 2. Vitu-Ghazi Inspector with evidence collected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plenty of evidence there. This makes Gate Creeper Vine a 1/3, and then I can Roost the Swamp out of my deck and go. Now the game is not about surviving their burn shit, it's about playing around potential Fairy Macabre, which my opponent is not even pretending to represent. GG, on to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 4, and I noticed on the recording that the power washing did definitely come through a little bit. Sorry about that low quality. Unfortunately, I live on Earth where there are other people sometimes. Got a mulligan this hand. This one, oh wow. Quad Sagu. Keep. I'm gonna bottom, I think, one of the Sagus. I think the Ceruli is just going to be more useful. And I really hope I don't get duressed here. Or my Lotus Petal spell pierced. That's game. Opponent's on a mull to 5 with a tapped Orzhov dual land. Quirion Ranger is pretty decent. Validates keeping the Ceruli. I'll roost for a forest and play Ceruli. Let's do it. I knew a kid named Ceruli once. That was not his real name. He was a Hasidic Jew, and his nickname was Ceruli. It came from his family. I don't know what that means. Tithing Blade, solid. Okay. Roost for another forest. We stay roosting around here. Quirion Ranger's in. The Tithing Blade did save an extra roost this turn, which is going to slow me down on casting Lead the Stampede. Glint Hawk, all right. Quirion Ranger, nice knowing you. Grim Bauble, okay. You know what? Fuck all my creatures, independently and personally. Okay, well, let's just get all the lands out of the deck. The 4th and 5th wildlings have occurred. Roost. I don't think it matters which one I play. I don't think there are any random discards that are played in Pauper. But it's actually interesting to think about if they play how many refurbished familiars. If they play 2 refurbished familiars this turn, I might actually discard a forest over the second Lead the Stampede and play on 3 lands if I had played the swamp. Yeah, I'm willing to believe I actually just did that wrong, despite thinking it didn't matter. Lots of green 1-drops in the deck. Stampeding, let's go. Hit a bunch of shit here. We know they have Tithing Blade in their hand. I will use this opportunity to cast my least good creature. And then next turn, I'm around the Tithing Blade and don't care about it anymore. They can have as many Gatecreeper Vines as they want. And if they don't kill Elves of Deep Shadow, I'm going crazy wide. The 5th mana here is actually bonkers. Okay, yep. Do whatever you can here. Glint Hawk, all right. Picked up the blade again. Mesmeric Fiend. Do I prefer that? Not really, actually. Though maybe. I don't know. I am going to play Mesmeric Fiend. This is weaker to generic additional removal, I think. But Gatecreeper Vine just sucks. Oh, Ghostly Flicker. Yikes, dude. Oh my god. Alright, well, I'm going to take Ghostly Flicker now and play Gatecreeper Vine to play around the Tithing Blade. Alright, yeah, that was among the most horrifying cards I could have found in the hand. And I'm extremely glad I did that. I am taking steady damage. No looks at a spy yet. Opponent's done a very good job controlling how much mana I have access to. Get out of here! He drew that shit anyway. And that one unlocks the other one? Oh my god. Alright. I am getting punished for being the villain. Okay. Masked Vandal. That can delete Grimbauble. Do I care about Grimbauble? I think I do. Alright, Tithing Blade, Ghostly Flicker is the hand, so Masked Vandal, Overgrown Battlement is my play this turn. Grimbauble, exile this Elves of Deep Shadow, play Overgrown Battlement. That's the one I've been dancing around for the last 3 turns. And they don't have 5 mana to play Blade and Flicker it. I am on a 2-turn... I get 2 more draws this game. Gotta figure this out pretty quick. Cryogen Relic. Okay, please don't draw land, please don't draw land, please don't double spell. So this stunning my Overgrown Battlement kind of sucks too. Tinderwall, Caretaker. These cards are both free with Battlement. Shitload of green. Can I find a spy right now? Spy for the win. I see a black card in there. Hell yeah. I think I don't take these other creatures, right? Because I'm not going to use them, and I'm about to win. That's just extra damage. Okay. Balustrade Spy in my hand. The rest on the bottom in any order. Sack the Tinderwall. Did we thread the needle? It looks good. Dread Return, targeting Lotleth Giant, and opponent has conceded. What a battle. That was on a mull to 5. Imagine that they had 7. My opponent has both artifacts I care about and cards in their hand I care about. Nyxborn Hydra actually seems pretty good here. Buys me a lot of time. looking at the normal cut options of Mass Vandal, Mesmeric Fiend, the various elves. The Deep Shadow elves have been getting cut because I've been playing against aggressive matchups, not because they're specifically good or bad in any spot. A 2/4 reach is actually pretty big in these games. So Nyxborn Hydra is also that. I think I want both of these cards in, unfortunately. Though their graveyard hate is likely to be artifacts, which means Mass Vandal makes sense as well. Yeah, I think having all the mana still in additional Mass Vandal, maybe I can play one fewer elves and get my Nyxborn Hydras in and 3 Mass Vandals and just forget about attacking their hand and focus on attacking the things they would Ghostly Flicker. I hope this makes sense. Because I've submitted the deck. It's done. All right, millions of lands ready to go. All the lands in my deck are represented by my opening hand. Oh, okay. I was going to play Caretaker. Does drawing Overgrown Battlement change anything? How do I have the most mana over time? I think I'm going to switch up and cycle for a forest now, with the plan of playing Gatecreeper Vine next turn and then Ceruli plus Battlement on turn 3. Cryogen Relic, all right. Well, I just put a creature in my graveyard and I have Masked Vandal. Yeah, I might just blow up their lands now. That exists too. That's something you could do in the Pauper format. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I'm just going to Masked Vandal. I'm going to go for the bridge. Get you real good. Okay, pass. Another bridge. Cycle Generous Ent. Get a forest. Play Creeper Vine. Get a swamp. I think I actually should have played Battlement that turn. That was a mistake. Because I'm insulated against Edict anyway, and it doesn't matter if I tutor the land now or next turn, it's the same thing. But I would get a bunch of the mana back. Yeah, that was bad. Noted. Tithing Blade takes my Masked Vandal. Refurbished Familiar can have... It's probably Ceruli. Sorry, kid, I know. You draw the perfect Refurbished Familiar card right after they fam you. Okay, I'm gonna Winding Way for creatures. What if I did it for lands? Is that funny or just stupid? Okay, Overgrown Battlement. A card that should have been in play already. I somehow did only get one card though. Put a Winding Way, Lotus Petal, Land Grant on the bottom. Take my beats. Glint Hawk. All right, do you want to attack my hand or attack my board? Attacking the board, I think, is the right call. Vine is dead. 3 cards left in hand over there. Second Battlement, nice. These functionally cost 1, so I can go Battlement, Vine, get nothing, and then lead the Stampede. All right, Gatecreeper, a bunch of Ceruleans and a Tinderwall. No help there. Just 5 cards closer to Spy, wherever it is in my deck. Thoughtcast, yuck. Haven't seen that one yet. I'm at 14. Flickering, Tithing Blade, and Refurbished Familiar. All right, I'll sack Gatecreeper Vine and discard Dread Return. I found a good one to discard since the last time we had this conversation. Big rips. Opponent's tapped out. No love. Okay. Free spell. Free spell. Insanely mana positive spell. Float 4. Untap this. Hit my land. Free spell. Creeper. I am not going to search, not going to shuffle, because I just put a bunch of cards that I don't like on the bottom of my deck. Cast Sagu Wildling. I gain 3 life. Do I want to Dread Return Generous Ent? I feel like I do. That would be Gatecreeper, Ceruli, Tinderwall gone. Is that better than Mass Vandal? Yes, I think they're over the Mass Vandal hump by now. Generous Ent, sacking Vine, Ceruli, and Wall. If this flushes out a Fairy Macabre, I'll take it. If it doesn't, I'll also take it. Okay, I suddenly have the biggest creatures on the board, and I'm dominating the skies. My biggest creatures also have flying or reach. Sky Fisher. Oh, Cryogen Relic draws a million cards here. That's probably the way to go. Yep. Relic's in. 5 cards in hand to my 0. Refurbished Familiar also draws a card, because why would this card ever be bad? All right, let's rip a spy. It's not a spy. How many creatures would it take to kill my Generous Ent? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power on board. They'd lose 3 creatures to do that. Saga Wildling would trade 1 for 1. That's unacceptable. I'm going to attack with Generous Ent. And as much as I would like to leave up a trick and surprise them, bouncing a land in a matchup around Refurbished Familiar and it being in my hand doesn't sound like a good deal to me. And I'm just F6 here, shields down. Whatever happens, happens. Can they beat Generous Ent before I come up with a combo? Is my combo even good against these 4 cards in hand? So many questions. Impossible to know the answers. Draw engine fully engaged. That was a lot of sky fishing just done there. Well, that one's good too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could take 2 creatures down with me if I attack with Ent. And why is Core Skyfisher so big? This sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play Generous Ent. Another one of these. Untap my battlement. Eat my food for F6 value. And pass the turn. We got a misclick, sad face in the chat. I missed what was being misclicked. Cryogen Relic. I think I'm behind, and probably by a lot. They're doing all the stuff. Now the Nile Spellbomb has arrived. I think this game is passing me by. Unless I start drawing... Oh god, obviously that showed up right now. After Spellbomb appears. I can't really leave this in my hand because they're a familiar deck. I also can't really cast it because I lose. And I can cast it, I just have to target them. Yeah, we're in full dumbass mode now. Target you with Spy. That didn't go very far. I wasn't really expecting it to. That is a 2-3 though. I was just talking about how 2-3s in the air are huge. Bajuka Bog. I care about that insofar as now Lotleth Giant is a worse top deck. It won't force the Nile Spellbomb anymore. Right, Consuming Sepulcher has flipped. The end game has been entered. Masked Vandal. Unlucky that they just blew up my graveyard. Though this does incentivize me to attack with my Ents and see if this is worth a Nile Spellbomb for them to disrupt. Like, I'll kill 2 creatures, try to exile their Sepulcher, and then still have a bunch of flying left. Okay, the expected block has occurred. The expected damage is done. Is this worth Nile Spellbomb to you? I probably should have targeted Nile Spellbomb to make it a forced action either way, but I'm so addicted to grinding that taking out the Sepulcher and just having the biggest creature in play still appeals to me. Maybe that was just completely wrong. Refurbished Familiar, and this is why you have to play the spells you draw. It's not like I could have held this Spy up to the point where I draw the Vandal and then do it all at once against the looping Refurbished Familiar deck. Yo, all right, big money, big money. Pay me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nyxborn Hydra has entered the chat. Remember that sideboard card that I talked about? Dread Return is the bottom card of my deck right now. Giving Generous Ent larger and trample. All right, just scoop to the Nyxborn Hydra. We found the limit. Nice. All right. 1 combo game, 1 Golgari cards game. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. On the play in the final round, bread and butter 4-1 on the line. No mana in this hand, gonna ship it. I've got 2 mana and 3 mana in this hand. All right, yeah, this is great. I'll keep and bottom It's either Giant or Dread Return. They're both bad in my hand. There are 2 of each in the list, right? Okay, yeah, there's 2 of each in the list, which means keeping either means I can't double either. And I guess Dread Return probably has more functionality in terms of, like, if my opponent counters my spy. All right, I'll bottom lot with Giant. I'll play Forest, and do I reveal my hand right away? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm going to pass. Land Grant's free. If I could do anything here that messes up my ability to, like, if they do anything that changes what I might do, or I do anything that changes what they might do, I'm not interested. So hiding that information for that 1 turn cycle. They just had a tap land pass, so whatever, but probably didn't matter. Augur of Bolus, opponent looking at the bottom 3 cards of their deck. Deem Inferior. Okay. That's a sorcery that puts target non-land permanent second from the top or on the bottom of the deck. 1, 2, Creeper. Get Swamp. Play Winding Way. Name creature. We got 2. And one of them is good against counterspells. I could have pedaled out the Caretaker for more mana next turn, but I kind of want to hold on to the pedal because I kept this Dread Return in my hand as part of a package to beat a counterspell. And I'm going to try to hold on to that as long as I can. Mass Vandal, pretty irrel. Mesmeric Fiend, let's have a look at this handful of spells. Counterspell, multiple Screds, another counterspell, and a Spell Pierce, and a Fire Ice. Okay, yeah, this Mesmeric Fiend is not going to stay in play. I will take the counterspell, at least make that something they have to think about. Play Caretaker. And I feel like I'm already in big trouble. Scred the Caretaker, you're out of here. Fire the Mesmeric Fiend, which puts the counterspell back in their hand. And pass. The scary thing with Dread Return in my hand is if they don't counter Spy and focus on countering Dread Return, I lose. Because that's way worse for me. A cycle for that last Forest. And do I send this? I think I'm going to cast this into one of the counter spells. This is so bad. No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. It's just too easy. Even the Scred taking me off a 3rd creature, they have me covered 1,000 different ways here. I think I probably should have played Masked Vandal just to have another body in play to get ahead of the Scredding. Yep, that's dead. Screds are gone. Land Grant, no further things to search for. Wow, that's terrifying. Why are we losing focus on this? Just trying to keep me aggressively below 3 creatures. Fair enough. Alright, aggressively at 0 creatures. And now damage is being done. Opponent's hand is Spell Pierce, Counterspell, Deem Inferior, and 1 unknown. Oh, am I getting Ninja? Brutal. Alright, that was the worst unknown imaginable. There's that Counterspell mana back up. I'm going to play Spy as a 2/3. If it resolves, I'll target them. But this Ninja of the Deep Hours is going to kill me. Target you. Massive Mill mostly doesn't matter. Okay. Ship it. They could Deem Inferior to keep pushing here, which is probably worth doing. Right, Spy is now second from the top of my deck. Still have Counterspell and Spell Pierce over there. Tapped out for Augur. And Mist. Look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck. Okay, Quirion Ranger. You can come in. Untap Quirion Ranger by bouncing the Forest. That lets me hit my land drop for the turn. Is there anything I want to Dread Return? I could Dread Return Mesmeric Fiend now. Check the counter spell. That's actually kind of sweet. Okay. Lotus Petal, Dread Return, target Mesmeric Fiend. Or do I just want Generous Ent in play? What are they going to do about that shit? Alright. Generous Ent. We're taking the other path. Elves of Deep Shadow. Pass the turn. Seething Landscape. Fairy Seer. All 4 Screds are in the graveyard. I wonder how many Demon Inferiors this deck actually plays. Augur. They just kept a card on top. No good chance they're going to hit. Counterspell. Or double Counterspell in hand. They'll probably spend one right now on this Balustrade Spy. This is nutty. Alright, so if I play Spy and they counter it, I would have to Dread Return it, which is not... I can actually Dread Return it and beat Spell Pierce here, but I don't have another 3 creatures to sacrifice. That's cool. This deck is fun. They pass. Sacrificing Landscape. Another Fairy Seer. See them fairies. What do you see? Hand is 2 counterspells right now. Generous Ent dominating the battlefield. Top. Jesus. What could they even be? That's gross. A Caretaker. Ent get in. Play Caretaker. Untap Ent. Pass. I'm almost at the point where I can Dread Return my Spy and do something. Brainstorm. This is probably going to get rid of the Spell Pierce if they can. It just drew the other card they left on top. It was Scry to the top. Brainstorm sees that card and 2 new ones. Fairy Seer again. This is probably just going to bottom the bad cards from Brainstorm. Top, bottom. Okay. I assume Spell Pierce just went to the bottom, but I'm not going to make any... I'm not going to click it away. I don't want to forget it's there. Yeah, they're sacrificing a Fairy Seer to get a Ninja going here. That's a temporary draw 1 card situation. End step. Crack my food. Lotleth Giant. Interesting. That would be worth the counterspell, but then I flash back Dread Return on it. There's 6 creature cards in my graveyard. I'm going to attack first, see what happens. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, I'm there. Okay, untap Generous Ent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I wish right now... Oh, if they counter this, then they can't have Spell Pierce anyway, so this is actually just lethal. Right, Dread Return. Yeah, nice! Turns out keeping that Dread Return in my hand on the mulligan defined that game. Both the front and back of it were sick. I'm going to want my Fiends and my Hydras here. They're going to have Sweepers after board. They don't have artifacts and enchantments. Do I want Vitu-Ghazi Inspector, or is that over sideboarding? The 2/4 Reach is a serious game object here. Probably have to cut another Elves here. They didn't really have Fairies, though, where Spellstutter Sprite, or I guess I did see. I should assume Spellstutter Sprite is in this deck. I saw Fairy Seer and Ninjas. Yeah, they have Spellstutter Sprite. Delete what I was about to say from your brain. Okay, I'm going to keep it light here. I could see arguments for the Inspector, but I'd have to start cutting more mana dorks for that. And I feel like getting into the cast your big stuff part of the game is going to be a big deal here. 1 mana, but not 2. This hand does not actually function despite having a land in it. Mulligan. This one is better. This has 2 mana, but they're a deck full of removal. I will keep this. Bottom Lotleth Giant, and fingers crossed. I just realized that Elves of the Deep Shadow, despite it being a green card, taps for black, which means I have to draw something like Generous Ent and immediately spike to get rewarded, and I did. Magic's easy. Yeah, in my head, I was like, if this lives, I have green, but nope, that's not how that works. Never punished. Didn't have a Ninja. Forest Cycle. Half my lands accounted for. Winding Way for lands, get the rest of the lands out. What do we think? Good play. Do I want a Mesmeric Fiend immediately and get the lay of the land? Or develop something like Tinderwall that might just get spell-stuttered, but anything can be spell-stuttered here. All right, I'm going to Fiend, see what you're working with. Yeah, it means immediately spell-stuttered. Do I want to flip Lotus Petal into Elves of Deep Shadow? I think I do. It just gets something in there, and red mana, untapped red mana is not trivial in their deck. Yeah, like they have Volatile Fjords and fetch lands. They probably have 1 or 2 mountains in this deck. Fire Ice is pretty good against Elves of Deep Shadow, though. Quarian Ranger, I mean, that is really good, but also just dies to this face-up Fire Ice. I could just cast Winding Way and hope it delivers me a land. I think I have to. Hit Cerulean Gatecreeper. All right, yeah. I think not letting myself be completely cooked by fire is a reasonable way to play that turn. Right, opponent has the Monarch and a 5/2. The 5/2 is scarier than the Monarch, actually. Can I win right now? Opponent's tapped out. I've got Quarian Ranger. Okay, I'm going to play Ranger. Float a mana. Untap Ranger. Pick up Forest, play Forest, Tinder Wall, nets me one, but I don't actually need that. I think I want to go Mesmeric Fiend, Gate Creeper, Lightning Bolt, Relic of Progenitus. Well, I don't care for any of these cards. I guess I want to take Fire Ice, so if they have to bolt, I mean, any sequence here just kills all my creatures. I might be cooked. If I knew their hand looked like this, I would have just sent it and hope it worked here with 2 lands in my deck, but out of luck. Though there is only one red mana over there. I think I want to take Relic to force the action on... Like, I don't want them to just be able to sit around and on that, on the Relic and do whatever they want. So spend a turn, Fire Icing to get your Relic unlocked, play the Relic, and then we'll figure something out. And by figure something out, I mean die immediately. Okay, those are dead. That's how that works. Why isn't Mesmeric Fiend to 0-3? That's still not good enough in the Lightning Bolt. Relic's in. Taking 1,000,000 damage. Oh, they almost gave me the Monarch. Did you see that? Not that it matters. I'm dead. Almost on board. Sagu Wildling. I mean, I guess I can cast that. It gets bolted and I lose anyway. Alright, GG. Yeah, the Relic was over the top. Maybe if I had more games with this, I would have known that that's a reasonable place to fight. Okay, I think I want some Mass Vandals in, having seen Relic as interaction and having seen Fire Ice in games 1 and 2. The Elves of Deep Shadow and Quirion Ranger are the most susceptible to that. It's just a little counterplay. Yeah, the option to send it with 2 lands in my deck while they're tapped out versus Mesmeric Fiend them. Very interesting. Okay, this is almost there. Oh, it's really hard for them to bolt on turn 1. I'm going to keep this. Because Quirion Ranger can bounce a land. If I play Quirion Ranger on turn 1, that gets Overgrown Battlements in. But if they do just have Mountain Bolt down and dirty, I'm in a lot of trouble. Forest, Ranger, pass. Right, that's not that. Cool. And I'm not excited about Relic of Progenitus, but it's better than getting bolted. Wow, or I could just draw Forest. Magic's so fucking easy. Right, Overgrown Battlement, attack for 1. Double blue. I have my engine, my mana engine online. I haven't really done that yet in this league. Alright, I mean, land grant, reveal it. This will show them what I'm working with, but also clear all of the lands out of my deck. Creeper. Solid place for a counterspell. Battlement. Yeah, I guess I could have sequenced that in a way to unlock my black better. I'll just draw the swamp. The way this match has gone. Wow, opponent has tapped out of Relic. Alright, if I draw black right now, I just win. Shit. That's not what I meant by black. I didn't mean black card, I meant black mana. Alright, yeah, maybe I did underestimate the Gate Creeper, or they correctly identified. Like, I wonder if they would have countered anything. If I let on Overgrown Battlement last turn, do I win this turn? Sloppy. Relic gets my land grant, and now Relic's online, so we have to actually play the game. Fairy Seer, that thing flies. So I'm in the market for a swamp, Generous Ent, my big green stuff. Oh no. It's falling apart, all because of that sequencing 2 turns ago. And now Scred's online, can take my battlements. Armoring Mystic, okay. That makes the fair plan a lot harder. Winding Way, alright. Play that. Find some creatures. Lots of them, including Gate Creeper Vine. Fine. Did it work? We're in. Give me that swamp. Swamp as my land. I have 3 mana available here. Yeah, I think it's Fiend time. If they have a Scred, that's so fucked up. Alright. Exile Winding Way from my graveyard. 1, 2, 3. Mesmeric Fiend, that 2-card hand. What's going on over there? Answer is 2 counterspells. One of them is a creature, but is kind of soft. The other is not a creature, but is a hard counter. I'll take the hard counter. Okay. Just one little blink, and I suddenly have black mana, and I can start casting these Lotless Giants. Oh no, you drew Lorien Revealed. Settle down. Alright, fine. Whatever. And played Volatile Fjord. Oh, they're tapped out of Relic. Did you just kill yourself? You know I have Spy in my hand. 1. Exile this artifact. Okay, deal. I guess the high roll for a untapped land there is probably worth the roll, but oh, they know I have both Lotleth Giants in hand. How do I solve that? Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Is this doable? I don't think it is. Dang. Clever. Clever, clever. Okay, if I tap 2 forests for Gatecreeper Vine, then I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, getting Vine in does build out my board, makes Battlement better for next turn, and doesn't stop me from casting 2 spells this turn. Okay, Vine. But yeah, it's actually fully pays for itself because I'm going to untap Battlement and it counts twice. 5, 6, 7. Lotleth Giant, which is good for 2 on the way in here. Yep, trying to outmuscle now. But that's going to be tough with the Murmuring Mystic. Yeah, it's cool that with the information they had, they knew it was pretty safe to tap out of the Relic. Frustrating for me, but cool. Can I make them tap out again? If I play... I don't have 2 black mana is the problem. I would need to use Mesmeric Fiend to check them. Oh, maybe I could get them on the hook for a Lead the Stampede and then kill them with Spy. Because there are 2 Dread Returns in the deck, and I can use one to Dread Return a random object and then use the other to Dread Return. Yeah, if they tap out here, I can win. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Lead the Stampede. Please counter this. Do not fall for it. All right. Get 2 more things. Dread Return to the bottom of the deck. Wall of Roots. Please counter this. If they counter any of these things, they lose. Surly Caretaker. All right. Didn't fall for any of it. Good stuff. This taps for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I can play another Lotleth Giant here. 5, 6, 7. Idiots in shambles. 6, 7. Everyone's at 14. And do I have attacks? They either chump or they trade their 5 power thing. And I guess I'll send in the 6. Yeah, trading the 5 power thing looks pretty solid to me. I've got enough spells kicking around that Relic is going to have to pop to get a creature. I guess I did miss a damage by not attacking first. It's somehow no reach. Do we have a Ninja now? Enough. You've drawn enough cards. Okay, Ninja of the Deep Hours gets in 1 time. Fairy Seer. How many Vandals did I leave in? 2. All right, so there's 2 Vandals in there, plus the spells that dig for Vandals. Tinderwall. Replay the Forest, and their board cannot kill a Lotleth Giant. I'll attack with that guy. Easy chump block. And then I do have multiple black mana now. I could go Mesmeric Fiend into something else. I think I'm going to start with a Vine. Wow, okay. We're spell settering Vines now. It must mean there's a lot of counter magic in the hand. Let's have a look. Oh, what is this? Deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If it would die, exile it. We've got Counterspell, Moon Circuit, Hacker, and Removal. All of these are good. I think the Removal is the unique thing in the hand. Oh, that's a sorcery. Interesting. Okay. Getting Moon Circuit hacked means that they're going to have another counterspell in Spellstutter Sprite. I could resolve Spy right now, but that doesn't help me in the face of the Relic. It does give me a flyer, but then they could just Forge and Flame. What is this? Fanged Flames? Fang Flame? Flame Fang? They just flame my fangs? All right, I think I'm going to take Counterspell and try to resolve a flying blocker here. Because then if they fang my flames on Spy, that means they've not fanged my flames on the thing that's holding their counterspell back. Target you. Have milled a million cards. That mostly doesn't matter, unless I end up decking them to their own monarchy, which is a Pauper endgame that I've experienced many times in life. Okay, my Quirion Ranger is still operational, but I don't need anything untapped right now, so I'll just pass. You get Lead the Stampede out of my graveyard with that Relic. Fang the Flames on my Balustrade Spy. It's in exile now. That means Mesmeric Fiend gets to keep the counterspell, They played Volatile Fjord from hand. Here come these jerks that I cannot interact with. One of them's going to become a ninja. It's a draw 1. Monarch triggers. Generous Ent plays. How many fairies do you have? One? Just one? I was counting. I was like, 1. What comes after 1? Nothing. A Lawless Giant, bang in there. Oh, did we draw Skred? Pretty good. Yeah, my opponent has multiple draw engines online to mine nothing at all. Oh, I'm not surprised that they had some piece of interaction there. Brainstorm. All right, looking for one of the last remaining counter spells, or the last. There's 2 here, and then there's 1 in the graveyard. There's 1 actual counter spell left in the deck. I've resolved my Ent, and might as well untap here. I have a land drop. Okay, pass. I have a reach blocker now. Certainly my opponent won't have any kind of interaction at all. Fire, who's this targeting? The 2 Mesmeric Fiends. All right, my opponent's hand is now 2 counterspells. I've got 5 minutes on my clock to their 14. They've got 25 cards in their deck, and they are pushing real damage. Okay, I'm going to block the actual fairy and take damage from birds here. Crack my food token. 2 counterspells in hand is crazy. What are you even going to do with all those? You're greedy. Moon Circuit Hacker, dying at the altar of Generous Ent. Brainstorm. Big beats coming. Opponent with the attack all button and then unattacked all. And my Ent is dead. I am dead now too. GG. That was a lot of interaction to deal with, and all of it mattered. Okay, a positive record with 4 land spy. I know people have strong feelings about this because it's an oops variant, and that brings out the worst in folks. But I actually think this deck is pretty appropriate in the Pauper format. Like, there were turns where I could resolve my spy, but I didn't have 3 creatures because my opponent used Lightning Bolt on one of my random walls earlier in the game. The Graveyard Hate's extremely potent against this deck, unlike the Legacy build that can just shrug it off. I think setting up the stuff is actually pretty easy to do and pretty cool. And then the actual decisions, whether to play 4 lands or 5, matters a lot, because there were parts of this game or parts of this league where I had all 4 of my lands in play and then Saga Wildling and Troll of Khazad-dûm in hand and needed to find ways to get to 5 and 6 from the 4 that I had. And I mean, you're full of mana dork, so that's not really hard, but just having a 5th land, a 2nd swamp, also means you can cast Red Return without having to stretch into Lotus Petal or Ceruli for it. Pretty cool decisions to be made when building and playing a deck like this. I am not going to extrapolate on those thoughts here because I've played 1 league with a pretty advanced combo deck in an Eternal format. I'm not going to act like an expert. But this was fun. Cool stuff to navigate. I can see the pathways where building the deck in different ways would benefit you in different situations. And this feels like a cool thing to exist in the format. Wombat Ferrari, thanks for sharing it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.